Alright, UFC 310 just happened, and, I thought it'd be a good card. Could have been a good card. Wasn't a good card. Let's just say that. Now, if you don't know, it is fucking late as fuck for me. It is, I got a job and shit now, unfortunately. I know, cringe, cringe. But I'm recording this just after the event. And I'm just gonna do a breakdown of the card. Again, I don't bet. I don't make picks or predictions. Or, sorry, I make picks and predictions. I don't do bets. I do pretty well on my picks. Just saying. Just saying. I think on this card I went like something. I went positive for sure. I went like 7, 8. Yeah, I went like 9-4. 9-4, I think. Maybe, yeah, like 9-4. I think it's pretty good. Pretty good. I think this was a tricky card, to be honest. I feel like a lot of people are in like the 50-50 here on the card. Or like, 55-45, whatever percentages work out to. But regardless, let's get into the card breakdown, just giving my thoughts and overall opinions and shit. But with that being said, let's get into it. Kennedy Nzechukwu against Lucas Brzeski. I was on the toilet taking a shit during this fight, as I don't give a fuck about either of these fighters. I picked Kennedy. I just think Kennedy is the least shit one out of Lucas Brzeski, and out of all the shit in the toilet bowl, Kennedy Nzechukwu just didn't smell the smelliest, I guess. I guess he smelled the best out of all the shits in the toilet bowl today. I guess, I don't know. Not much to really say. I mean, it's a round 1 KO. I saw the highlight. Yeah, you flatlined Lucas Brzeski. Congrats. I mean, you flatlined Lucas Brzeski. I don't care. Anyways, moving on. We have Clay Guida versus Chase Hooper. I saw some people picking Clay Guida. I'm just going to be honest. Anyone who picked Clay Guida, you are either like a degenerate gambler or you just have no idea. Like, you're so out of the orbit of MMA and everything. I do this shit because I have passion for the sport and I love following it. Sometimes it's but for the most part I enjoy the sport. Who the fuck was picking Clay Guida? Genuinely. Like, there's no reason to. He lost the grappling match to Chase Hooper earlier, I think, this year. Clay Guida's 42 fucking years old. Chase Hooper's literally 25, in prime. Not in prime, but like getting better. Just knocked out a really good striker. Not knocked out, but knocked down a really good striker. Basically, Chase Hooper's just better Clay Guida everywhere, except for maybe pace. And yeah, Clay Guida got submitted. I mean, like, wow, shocker. Anyways, moving on. Michael Chiesa, Max Griffin. I promise you, this is the last shit. Nah, there's some shit ones on this card. I'm not gonna hype UFC up. I don't really care. Michael Chiesa versus Max Griffin. Max Griffin gets submitted at round 3. This was kind of a case of, I think Chiesa was up 2-1 regardless. I think my heater just turned on. Anyways, yeah, Chiesa was up 2-1 regardless. He had the back, I guess, and it was just like Max Griffin kind of gassed out. This was just a case of like two old men fighting. That's what it looked like. It looked like two almost 40-year-old men fighting. It just looked like Chiesa had just a little bit more gas in the final round. A little bit of Reiner de Ritter GM3 vibes, except less exciting because there was barely any good striking on display. Max Griffin literally threw like, 5 strikes each round. It was kind of boring, not gonna lie. Chiesa's now on a 2-fight win streak. I say cut him. Let him be a UFC commentator. Nobody wants to see him fight anyways. Nobody gives a fuck. But I guess he's Coloradian, I think is the statistic they showed. So, one of 9 active Coloradian fighters, I guess. These fucking, oh my god. These, like, special ed kids, they just allow into the UFC so they can just fucking, whoa, he's from Colorado, guys. We're inclusive. Cut him. Like, nobody wants to see it. Michael Chiesa, in hindsight, isn't that bad. But I just don't want to see him fight again, He's like a GM3, but at welterweight. And slightly less entertaining, because he's not willing to actually get knocked out. I'm just not a Chiesa guy. Just saying. Max Griffin just looked like shit. Looked like he had 1 round of cardio, and even in that 1 round, he threw like 5 strikes, and that was about it. But regardless, fight was shit. Moving on. Cody Durden, Joshua Van. Now, this is, I think, the first split amongst MMA community pickers. as I'm calling them. No, but I do think most people picked Cody Durden. I think Guru picked Cody Durden. If you don't know, MMA Guru, you're living under a rock. I think Jacob from We Want Picks picked Cody Durden as his lock of the week. Ooh, that feels bad. I picked Joshua Van. I think I picked him by decision. Maybe I picked him by TKO, but I picked him by decision, and this is pretty much what I thought he was going to do. He was just going to be faster, and he was just going to be more busy every round on the feet. Cody Durden kind of tried to get some grappling going, but he almost did the opposite of his normal fights. In round 1, he was shooting takedowns quite a bit, and then in round 2, he just decided to, like, think he's a striker and continue striking into round 3. You know, and fair play, Joshua Van couldn't get the finish when it kind of looked like in moments he should have if Joshua Van genuinely has power. But Joshua Van was taking shots very well, which is good to see because, you know, getting knocked out by, is it Charles Johnson or Jose Johnson? I keep on forgetting the name. I think it's Jose Hunson, right? Borjas. Why am I tripping? Where's his, there it is. Charles Johnson, that's who it was, right? I get those two mixed up all the time. Charles Johnson isn't that bad, man. You know, I don't think Charles Johnson's that bad. But yeah, sometimes you just get clipped. I think this has improved Joshua Van. Joshua Van seems way more aware of, like, dangers and powers. And, like, I can't just be in a brawling fight. You know, he's very technical now. He's very much trying to hit his target. I think this was a new PB on strikes, actually. So, yeah, Joshua Van, great performance. Excited to see where Joshua Van goes in flyweight. You know, give him Asakura at this point. You know, spoilers for the main event, I guess. But yeah, I think Joshua Van did well. He's ranked. You know, he called out top 10. Great for Joshua Van. We'd love to see it. Anyways, moving on, we have Chris Weidman, Eric Anders. This was the first one I got wrong. And I'm not happy about it because Chris Weidman literally looked like he never fought a day in his life. This... Yes or no? Correct me if I'm wrong. I get it. It's catchweight. I get it. It's two 40-year-old men. This literally looked like an unranked heavyweight fight. It kind of did. Am I crazy in saying that? I feel like it was literally just an unranked heavyweight fight. This was two guys sloppy on the feet. Chris Weidman getting a fucking glancing eye poke and being like, oh, yeah, I need a towel, guys, towel. You know, fucking Mr. Eye Poke complaining about eye pokes. And then Eric Anders getting dropped in round 1 to, like, a pussy jab. And then in round 2, like, Chris Weidman is pulling guillotine while you're gassed out. Round 2 against Eric fucking Anders. Oh, man. And like, beginning of the round. Like, what are we doing, Chris Weidman, brother? You know, you talk about, like, oh, you're locking in and everything for this fight, you know, and you're pissed off because he pulled out. Brother, what is that? You're gonna pull guillotine? Come on, you fucking... Oh my... You're not Dustin Poirier, bro. Like... Jesus Christ, you know? Eric Anders knocks out Chris Weidman. Knocks out. That was one of the most pathetic TKOs I've ever seen in my entire career of watching UFC fights. That was absolutely pathetic. It was literally, like, the ref was just like, yeah, I gotta stop this fight. This is embarrassing. Sucks for... This was almost like watching Michelle Pereira getting TKO'd by Fluffy Hernandez. That's what this would have looked like, pretty much. You know, where Fluffy Hernandez is just... Alright, we gotta call a fight. That's too many strikes. Get him out. You know, it was just sad seeing it. It was really sad. Anyways, moving on to the prelims. You know, didn't do too well on that last one, but I did very good on this card, I'm not gonna lie. Anyways, moving on, we have Randy Brown, Bryan Battle. Hey, baby. Hey, Bryan Battle. Hey, we keep the hype train going. You know, a little bit of a derailment, alright? He did miss weight, that kind of sucks. It is what it is. However, what I will say is that while Bryan Battle did, like, this was just a clinch fest. This was like Jeff Neal, Ian Gary. This was a hug fest. Who was doing more knees to the thigh, you know, more clinching strikes. But what I will say is that this fight wasn't as shit as I think a lot of people are trying to say. Not only did Bryan Battle, I think, clearly win 29-28, but there was, like, times on the feet where Bryan Battle was beating Randy Brown. Now, Randy Brown, you know, he had a better exchange here and there, But I think Bryan Battle overall was getting the better of Randy Brown throughout the entirety of the fight. I think Bryan Battle still has potential to be a top 5, maybe even champion in welterweight, given some time. He is still young. He did miss weight. It is what it is. He did say this is his fastest turnaround since being at welterweight. He's still learning a lot of things, you know? Let's not forget, this guy did start his debut at fucking heavyweight. Bryan Battle did, you know? And the fact that he made it close with the striking on Randy Brown and was beating Randy Brown in some striking exchanges, I'd really like to see that, because Randy Brown, people are going to, like, put down now. But he was doing good up until the Bryan Battle fight. Like, he was knocking out Muslim Salikov, who just got a spinning wheel kick at the age of 40, you know, on fucking the guy who knocked down Ian Gary, right? And that's aging pretty well, to be honest with you. But Randy Brown is good. Like, Randy Brown's a solid fighter. Bryan Battle is just better than Randy Brown. And that's what I'd like to see. That, to me, screams that he's ready for a Neil Magny, personally. He did say he wants to take some time to work on some things. I like that from Bryan Battle. You know, I'm still pushing for this guy. I still think he has potential. He just does need to work on things. I would say he needs to work on not being so sloppy, right? When he's standing, he's not moving his head, which I kind of get it because he is typically the bigger dude. I think Randy Brown was estimated at 6'3", and Bryan Battle is at 6'1". Swear Bryan Battle's fucking taller. Is what it is. UFC doesn't know how to do fucking math. Regardless, Bryan Battle's good. Bryan Battle's really, really good. You know, he can keep a really good game going, you know? He just needs to make it a little bit more technical. He needs to clean it up a little bit more. He needs to stop throwing really big overhand rights and start cleaning up the striking. But I like it. I like it. You know, I like Bryan Battle. Still rate him as a fighter. Still picking him going forward. Yeah, but moving up, we have Mozavar Evloev versus Aljamain Poopstain Sterling. I picked Aljamain Sterling. Honestly, not even a bad pick. I know Mozavar fans are going to be like, oh my god, you thought Aljamain could beat Mozavar? Not a bad pick, just being honest. Aljo did have some successful moments. And yes or no, it kind of did feel like Aljamain just kind of quit in that third round. He kind of realized, like, I'm just kind of fucked. I'm going to sit here and do absolutely nothing and just lose by decision and hope judges give it to me. Which someone got that later on in the card. We'll get to that. But no, it was a really close fight. And this kind of fraud checked Mozavar. I think Lopez wins the rematch. I think Ilia Topuria sleeps Mozavar. I think Arnold Allen wins a rematch. I think Brian Ortega gives Mozavar some fucking problems. But I don't think Aljo could ever be 145 champ. I think that's what we learned. But not a bad pick for me, to be honest. Really close fight. Mozavar is just a busier Aljo, I think is what we learned. But Mozavar can just sit there and do nothing, is what we've learned, I think. When you are the aggressor, he does kind of just sit there and wait for you to make a mistake. So we need someone like an Ilia or like a Diego Lopez who don't make mistakes. Anyways, moving on. Vicente Luque, Themba Gorimbo. I picked Themba. You picked Themba. We all know you picked Themba. Everyone picked Themba. No one's picking Vicente Luque after that Joaquin Buckley fight. We all know why. It's not embarrassing at all. You can't admit it. Everyone thought Vicente Luque was on his way out with brain bleed. Now, that being said, this is an absolutely crazy win, in my opinion. I rate Themba Gorimbo pretty highly, even in the striking department. Maybe not his chin, but regardless, I think this shows that Vicente Luque is still kind of a killer. Now, the problem is, even though he submitted Themba Gorimbo and knocked down Themba within the first minute, Vicente Luque is kind of still one of these guys where the only reason why you're picking Vicente Luque is because you have money on him to win the fight. He could still have brain bleed in every single one of his fights. Would he whoop Nick Diaz if that fight happened? Sure. He called out Jorge Masvidal. Why? Anyways, but he should be looking up the rankings, I think. Like, get a rematch with Jeff Neal. Get a Ian Gary? Yeah, Ian Gary. Rebook that fight. Why not? You know? But, with his performance here, I think he actually does sleep Ian Gary. But Vicente Luque is still just not a guy you can put a lot of stock into. And it does suck. Because it's like we need to see 3 or 4 performances where he looks like that. Like a killer. Like he's actually hungry. You know? And we're going to kind of just be sitting here waiting for that. But it is what it is. I'm happy Vicente won. But kind of sucks because I do really like Themba. You know, I really rated Themba. It is what it is. Back to the gulag with Themba. You're going to have to get another win streak going in order to get another shot, you know? You know, getting Dwayne The Rock Johnson's fucking mansion for what? No, I'm joking, obviously. But I rate Themba pretty high. It does suck that he lost. Moving on to a fight I'm so happy to see. Dominic Reyes, Anthony Smith. Dominic Reyes kind of does get a pathetic, like, Anthony Smith, no heart, pussy bitch, lays in the ground and absolutely quits, so the ref calls the fight stoppage. But Dominic Reyes looked good out there, you know? Took a shot or two from Anthony Smith, wobbled Anthony Smith, beat Anthony Smith on the ground, you know, stop takedowns from Anthony Smith, but it is Anthony Smith. And listen, I'm just gonna be honest, I saw so many people pick fucking Anthony Smith in this matchup. I don't think Guru did. I don't think Running Mouth. I don't think anyone. I don't think Angelo from We Want Picks. I don't think anyone like that. Not a Lucas Tracy. I don't think those people picked Anthony Smith. If they did, oh my god, you guys are idiots. But this is a casual check. This is, do you watch fights or do you not watch fights? Check. This is what it is. This is the, are you actually a fan of the sport? Check. If you're a fan of the sport, you would pick Dominic Reyes 999 times out of 10, all right? Because Anthony Smith, he's not a fighter. He's shit. He has no chin. He's old. He's got no fighting spirit. He curls up on the ground. He's a commentator with one foot out of his door, having Michael Bisping in his ear, constantly telling him to retire. And then as soon as you hear, like, oh yeah, he had a friend pass, it's sad that his friend passed away. Anthony Smith will look for any excuse to explain why he lost. Any excuse. And you would know that, and he's soy boy built. And you would know this if you do any research on Anthony Smith's fights within the last 2 years. Did he submit Vitor Petrino? And did he beat Ryan Spann? Beat Ryan Spann? Yeah. Ryan Spann fucking sucks, and he has one of the lowest IQs in MMA history. Vitor Petrino barely beat Tyson Pedro. I think I even said that in one of my breakdowns during that fight. Like, barely beat Tyson Pedro, and Tyson Pedro was literally retiring that fight and was accepting losing every single round. And Vitor Petrino had no, like, snap, no nothing going into that. There's no, like, just cut Smith. We don't need him anymore. Dominic Reyes, back in the win column. He's on a winning streak. Give him Volkan Ozdemir, maybe? Give him, Khalil Roundtree. I really don't think Dominic Reyes is that bad. He's not that good, but he's not that bad. And when you're watching this fight, it's hard thinking like Dominic Reyes whooped John Jones' ass for 4 rounds straight. You know? It's kind of like, how the fuck is John Jones that bad when you're watching Dominic Reyes? But he still isn't that bad. He is still probably ranked light heavyweight. He's probably just not anything more than that. Maybe he'll get a Yuri rematch in the future. Who knows, right? He's still kind of young, I think, right? Never mind. Completely taking that back. So he's got a couple good years left, I guess. Yeah. Anyways, moving on to the main card. We have Nate the Train, baby. Now, I don't mind I got this pick wrong, I'll be honest. I don't mind Choi Do Ho. I thought it was Do Ho Choi. I don't fucking care. Regardless, I don't think Do Ho Choi is like that bad looking as a fighter. Nate Landwehr seemed a little off. I don't know if he was injured or something, but what I will say is that round 3 was probably the most entertaining part of this entire card, when Nate the Train literally started, and I shit you not, it literally looked like he was about to get knocked out, and he went, put his back against the fence, and was just like, if I'm gonna die, I'm gonna die today. Yeah. Just fucking throwing overhands, trying to knock out Do Ho Choi. And then he made a mistake on a takedown. It is what it is, mistakes happened. This stoppage I don't agree with. there's no real reason to stop the fight. You know, there's a chance that Doo Ho Choi, like, gasses out a little bit and stops striking, and then, like, Nate the Train can get his hit going. You know, and there's a good argument that they weren't even damaging Nate the Train, even though Nate the Train was 36, 35. I don't even know how old he is. But, no, Nate Landwehr looked good out there. He looked okay out there. Doo Ho Choi looked a little better, and I think that's kind of the story of the fight. Is what it is. I'm excited for Nate the Train. Every single fight Nate the Train is in, he makes it at least entertaining. Choi, Doo Ho, you know, Yoo Hoo Choi, I don't fucking know. This guy, he's still kind of a gamer, you know. I like to see it, you know? Good gatekeepers, you know? Good gatekeepers. I like to see it. Anyways, moving on to probably the best fight of the whole card. We have Bryce Mitchell versus Kron Gracie. Running Mouth, I know one of them picked Kron Gracie. You're just scamming your... I'm not actually implying that you're scamming your viewers. You're just scamming your viewers if you're picking Kron Gracie. Come on, you know? I know he's a nut hugger. Bryce Mitchell's the Flat Earth King. You really think he's going to lose in a Flat Earth battle? Brother, he had to show Kron Gracie that Flat Earth when he slammed his ass on that canvas. Hey, hey, brother, just like the true Lord intended. Hey, hey. But yeah, Bryce Mitchell gets the slam KO in round 3. Looked good in round 1 and 2. Here's what I'm saying about Bryce Mitchell, man. A lot of people shit on Bryce Mitchell because he did get slept by Josh Emmett and he did get submitted by Ilia Topuria. How are those bad losses? You know? It is what it is. You know what I mean? I'd still pick Bryce Mitchell in a lot of decent matchups. I think he can still beat, like, an Arnold Allen. Like, I think there's a world, you know? Calvin Kattar, Aljamain Sterling. Like, I think these are winnable matchups. Bryce Mitchell's stand-up isn't that bad. He does leave his chin open, and he doesn't have a great chin, but his effectiveness with his striking isn't that bad, you know? And his ground game's pretty good, all things considered. But yeah, pretty good fight. At least in the third round. Everything else was kind of just Kron Gracie pulling guard at minute 3, and then it's 3 minutes of Bryce Mitchell on top. It's pretty much it. And then Joe Rogan being like, you do not want to be there, man. Yeah, I never get tired of that, Joe Rogan, you fat, bald fuck. Anyways, moving on, we have Cyril Gane versus Volkov. I picked Bryce Mitchell, by the way. No sane person on the planet's picking Kron Gracie. Just saying. Cut him. Cyril Gane versus Volkov. Yes or no, this is the worst robbery in UFC history. I don't think it's close. I think you could argue Paddy Pimblett versus Jared Gordon is a closer robbery, but this is one for the books. Not only is this like a shit robbery, but like if Volkov got this win, this is title shot. This is #1 contender. This is, you know, top 10 pound for pound heavyweight rankings all time. We're talking here. His record's really good. You know, having only Cyril Gane, Derek Lewis, and Tom Aspinall beating Volkov, that's not bad on your record, man. And then getting one back by beating Cyril Gane, competing with Tom Aspinall. Like, this is... Volkov is fucking good, and I said it in the build-up, and I said it as my prediction. I picked Volkov. I have a bias. There's no world he loses the third round. On how? Cyril Gane was never close to getting that Kimura. And the whole time, Volkov was landing strikes. Yeah, they were up his ass. Yeah, they were on his ribcage. But that's something, rather than Cyril Gane sitting there like, did I get the Kimura yet? You know, like, Cyril Gane has some of the lowest IQ. He looked like shit, made excuses, saying he broke his toe in the first exchange. Shut the fuck up. I've been saying it, Cyril Gane's overrated as fuck. He's a fucking cheating merchant. He's a back-of-the-head strike merchant. This guy sucks. Every single fight he's won, he's cheated in. And this is now one of them. Because in the first round, which you can argue is close, I still give to Volkov. And you can tell by the numbers, I think Volkov should have won that. But no, I do think Volkov should have won that. I think round 1 is close, right? Arguably give it to Gane. But Gane blatantly stopped a takedown. When Volkov was getting those fucking heels. I don't even know what it's called, but he basically grabbed his heels and was trying to trip him. And he was about to get the trip, and then Cyril Gane literally grabbed the cage, pulled himself up, and the ref just ignored it. As the refs do in Cyril Gane fights. And every other... Cyril Gane's best win is Tai Tuivasa and Volkov. And at least the Tai Tuivasa one, he cheated in. Sergey Spivak, back of the headshots. That's how the fight finished. Back of the headshots for Derek Lewis. Back of the headshots that dropped Tai Tuivasa. This guy relies on cheating, you know? He really does. He even nutshotted Joan in the first minute. Like, I don't know why. Like, literally the judges for this fight should have been fired on spot. Who was it? Like, Derek Clearly or whatever the fuck his dumbass name is? Fire them on spot. You know, I heard Dana White was apparently talking to Volkov after this. Hopefully, they're not going to overturn it because it's MMA, but, like, hopefully something happens where Volkov is compensated, because that is horseshit. That Cyril Gane's whole team left the octagon thinking they lost the fight. And then he had to be notified, no, bro, you won the fight. Come back. What horseshit is this? Like, UFC, what are we doing, actually? Like, what are we fucking doing? Volkov arguably won the first. It's close. I give the edge to Volkov. Numbers, everything like that. Takedowns, shit like that. Second round, easy Volkov. Not even close. Round 3 is clearly Volkov. He had 4 minutes of control time on top. Or 3 minutes and something seconds. And landing, and outlanding him on the feet and on the ground. Like, whoa, why do they rob my boy like this, you know? And this is why I'm like 9-4. I consider myself 10-3 because of this fight personally, or maybe it's the other way around. Don't care. Don't really care. Moving on, we have Shavkat, Ian Gary. I picked Shavkat. I just thought he could win everywhere. He kind of just did win everywhere. There was no real danger from Ian Gary. This is casual Ian Gary stuff. I guess Ian Gary in the high levels just the clinch merchant, you know? He kind of just does rely on people to have low IQ and not do anything in the clinch. Shavkat did everything he could in the clinch. And I think what we found out is that Belal Muhammad might actually be able to beat Shavkat. That's what we found out in this fight. This was probably the worst fight of the year, considering the narrative of both these fighters going into it. Ian Gary finally lost his O, as he's deserved, finally. Maybe he will sit in the corner tonight, who knows. But Shavkat gets the decision. It was a clean decision. It makes sense. I know a lot of people are like, Shavkat should have went for the finish, blah, 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 blah. Ian Gary's overrated. Shavkat's overrated as fuck. I mean, is he, though? Like, Shavkat kind of just played it safe against a guy who's never lost. That's kind of what you have to do in some of these fights, you know? Like, sometimes you just gotta not risk it when you're in the best position possible. And that's what Shavkat did. He didn't risk anything. He knew he was there for the title shot. He knew he could just outmuscle Ian Gary. So he took the fight and he outmuscled Ian Gary. It is what it is. Ian Gary accept bottom position. He'll body lock himself on bottom like a dumbass. And then it's GG for that round for Ian Gary. Like, it's like what I said, man. Ian Gary just sucks. And Shavkat sucks less. JDM owns this division. And listen, man. Some people are shitting on Brian Battle for his performance. Missing weight and everything. Hey, Brian Battle. I think Brian Battle probably smokes both of these guys in the clinch. Just saying. Alright? Just saying. I think Brian Battle smokes both these guys in the clinch. You know, I think he was way more active against Randy Brown than Shavkat or Ian Gary was in any of their fights in the clinch. Just saying, right? Just saying here, guys. Not coping at all, you know? But yeah, Brian Battle for champion 2026. But anyways, moving on. We have the main event, which is the only, like, good part about the main card, I'd say, other than Bryce Mitchell, I guess. Yeah, that really sucked. That 5-round decision after one of the worst robberies in UFC history. They're protecting Cyril Gane for no fucking reason. He's shit. He's lost to every champion. He's gonna get another title shot for no fucking reason. He just lost the fight. His best win is Sergey fucking Spivak. Wow. Insane. Anyways, Alexander Pantoja versus Kai Asakura. If you were picking Kai Asakura, you're Japanese, and if you're not Japanese and you picked Kai Asakura, you're just dumb and you don't watch MMA at all. Or sorry, you don't watch these fighters at all. You don't watch Pantoja and you've never seen Kai Asakura. You've only seen the highlights, and that's why you pick Kai Asakura or put money on Kai Asakura. Or you're Japanese. I respect that. Hey. respect, you know, if you're from that country and you're betting on or you're picking your countrymen, I get it. Okay, I get it. I'm not gonna shit on you for it, right? But if you're the other group, what the fuck are you doing? You know, Kaya Sakura sucks, and he's been knocked out by Manel Cap, right, in the rematch. He barely beat, like, that old other guy who has a Japanese name that was good, but he was on a losing streak, you know, way past his prime. And he lost, like, 2 or 3 years ago. Like, he's not that good, man. Like, he really is. Kaya Sakura is not that good. And his finishes, while cool, they kind of overshadow that he isn't that great on the feet. Like, he does get tagged. He is fighting people who don't have guards. Like, they don't guard their face at all. This fight was literally Pantoja entered the octagon, and his whole thought process was, I am better than this guy everywhere. I'm just going to wait for him to do something stupid, and then show him there's levels to this game. And that's what he did. Did Pantoja get hit by a flying knee here and there? Did he get hit by a few good body kicks? Yeah. But guess what? Pantoja's just tough as shit. He ate that and was like, tout est bon, you know? Didn't give a fuck, you know? Walking Kaya Sakura down the whole time, you know? And then the moment Kaya Sakura made a mistake by dropping his hands, tagged. You know, the moment he tries going for a flying knee out of nowhere, tagged. You know, the moment he's going for a body kick while dropping that hand, tagged by an overhand, you know? I do think if Pantoja landed a clean 1-2, it knocks out Kaya Sakura cold. And then we get to round 2, where Kaya Sakura defends a takedown, I believe, and then Pantoja just kind of out-scrambles it, nearly gets the back within literally half a second. I was getting flashbacks from watching Mighty Mouse fucking getting a flying armbar. I was about to be like, yo, Pantoja about to fucking little bro Kaya Sakura right now, you know? This is like watching a bronze player fight like a fucking grandmaster player in League of Legends or some shit. Like, this is like, you're about to get bent over and you don't even know why you're getting bent over, you know? And Pantoja gets it back cleanly. He locks in the choke. He doesn't lock in the choke. He kind of sits there to keep the position, and as Kaya Sakura starts getting restless and starts being like, I need to be something because I'm a K-pop star, you know? I need to, you know, get out of this position. Soon as he moves, instantly snatches that rear naked. Doesn't get under the jaw. Kaya Sakura tries to fight it. I think he realizes he was fucked, and then Pantoja finally locks it in and chokes out Kaya Sakura cold. Kind of Chad for him to not tap to that submission. I'm just gonna be honest. Just being honest. I think Kaya Sakura beats Matt Chanel and struggles against... I don't know if he beats Tim Elliott, just being honest. I don't know if he beats Steve Erceg. I don't know if he beats Asu. I don't know if he beats Perez. Like, he's not beating Tyra. He's not beating Kai Kara France with that chin. He's not beating Amir he might beat Amir, depending. We'll see. He's not beating he's not beating the Brandons, bro. Like, he's not beating them. Yeah, so it's rough for Kaya Sakura fans right now. He's not going to be much at flyweight. I'm just keeping it real. He's not. You know, he's really not. This card overall, I think, is a great, like, do you actually watch fights, or are you just picking based off highlights? You know, because if you're just picking based off highlights, you're probably picking Kai. You're probably picking Ian Gary, maybe. You're probably picking Cyril Gane, which he lost that fight. You know, you're probably picking Anthony Smith. You're probably picking fucking... yeah, I don't know. You're probably picking Cody Durden. Kinda, you know? I don't know. But, yeah, regardless, I think this was, like, kind of a... Do you do research, or are you just a guy who watches highlights and makes predictions and bets and shit? And I did very well on this card. I'm pretty proud I did very well on this card. I think this card was pretty tricky. You know, technically a robbery. Even excluding the robbery, I'm still up way positive. I think I'm maybe, what, like 8-4, 8-5 or something? I don't fucking know. But even with the robbery, I'm like 9-4, 9-3, something like that. I don't know. Don't care. Is what it is. But next weekend, we got a big fight coming up, you know? And I'll try to get this video out probably Wednesday, I think, is when I'm going to upload it. But yeah, that's the breakdown of the fights. I thought it was a sick card at moments, and then it was shit most of the time. Could have been card of the year. Didn't end up being card of the year. Nowhere close. Is what it is. But yeah, I daily upload. If you're new around here, you know, click that subscribe button, hit that notification bell. Just saying. I'm on the rise. My empire is being built. But yeah, anyways, with all that being said, I want to thank you for watching. And as always, I hope you have a good day.